Hi, I'm Michelle Shaughnessy. We're here at Soundscape Records in Toronto with Michelle Irving, composer and sound supervisor on the hot new digital series Running with Violet. So, first things first, what does a composer and sound supervisor do?
Well, the composer writes the music for the underscore of the film. That's usually to support what's going on emotionally or psychologically in the film. And the sound supervisor is in charge of all the aspects of audio post-production. The sound design, the dialogue editing, Foley, and final mix.
So are you a musician as well then?
Yes, I am.
Is there something specific that kind of drew you to becoming a composer, or is it something that you always wanted to do?
I mean, I've always been interested in sound and music, and I was certainly... I remember being a toddler even, and was mesmerized by the piano and really wanted to learn that instrument, and eventually I did. But I was also playing with tape recorders and making my own fake radio shows and, recording in high-speed dubbing, so you get that kind of slow-mo effect.
I have zero musical talent. I've always wished that I could sing and play the piano and do all that. Is there a particular genre of music that you're drawn to?
When I started DJing, I wasn't starting as a DJ who was looking to get a party started. The first time I ever DJ'd, it was a mishmash of jazz, folk, rock, and weird techno. I then kind of became interested in hip-hop because it was really sample-based, and it was based on this kind of digging for unusual and interesting beats and sounds. So as a result, I discovered all kinds of music that I probably wouldn't have. There's folk music I'm really into, not just American folk. I actually am kind of obsessed with Greek Rebettica music, which a lot of people have never heard of.
I've never heard of that. I wonder if we would find any of that in here.
Also, I started to clue in to not just the bands or the musicians, but the producers. So, I started to realize that sometimes what I really liked about an album or an artist wasn't just that they were a good songwriter or the sound of their voice, but it was actually how the album was produced. To me, that kind of illustrates, my relationship to music, because it's never just about the songwriting, it's also about how it's produced.
Now, when you watch film and television, do you think that you kind of watch it differently than other people?
Sometimes if I'm doing research, I'll watch something and try to just turn my attention to how the sound design was handled or how the score is being used. When you do that, you lose the narrative, because it's really hard to listen to that and hear the dialogue at the same time. And actually, a successful score will largely go unnoticed because it's not supposed to be a foreground element.
Right.
It's supposed to simply it's like clothing, You're not watching a show going, wow, look what she's wearing, unless you're meant to.
What's your favorite score? Is that too hard of a question to answer?
That's way too hard.
Okay.
But I will say, I'm kind of old school. Ennio Morricone, I think, is brilliant. I love his approach.
So far what I've learned today about Running with Violet, it has a bit of everything. 2 women on the run with a toddler, action, a little bit of sex, some violence. What kind of drew you to a project like that?
Well, I love the idea of it was sort of like a Thelma and Louise meets Fargo kind of vibe. I like dark comedy, and I like,
So yeah. I should watch it?
Definitely,
I should watch it?
Definitely.
I would like it?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah? And even if I was a man, I should watch it? So men and women
sure.
would both like Running with Violet?
For sure.
That's awesome.
The characters are really entertaining, and I think it's really, really fun.